The country's first president, Habib Bourguiba, a flamboyant provincial lawyer who had fought the French for decades for the right of Tunisians to choose their own leader, had, once he was that leader, become less tied to the concept of democracy.
Il y a deux Bourguiba. Il y a un Bourguiba réformateur, moderniste, qui a fait le choix volontaire et volontariste de bâtir un État moderne fondé sur la sécularité, sur la séparation des institutions de l'État de la religion. Le problème des droits de la femme, du rôle de la femme, de l'égalité entre hommes et femmes, le code du statut personnel est un acquis important. Et il y a eu en même temps le Bourguiba autoritaire, qui ne tolérait aucune critique, qui avait un appétit de pouvoir extraordinaire, qui a estimé que, après tout, la Tunisie, c'est une poussière d'individus.
By 1975, after 19 years in power, the second Bourguiba was firmly in control, making himself president for life, formalizing what had long been the reality.
La fin du règne Bourguiba a été un naufrage, le naufrage de l'homme. Il y a eu la montée de l'islamisme, avec le phénomène de l'Algérie, qui était inquiétant, un islamisme dans la violence, et Bourguiba, se fondant sur ses convictions sécularistes, laïques, etc., a refusé d'accepter toute négociation avec quelque islamiste que ce soit, en faisant l'amalgame, tout islamiste est un terroriste. Et ça a débouché sur les confrontations des années 80.
In 1984, Tunisia erupted into violence. Bread riots started in the southern town of Gasrine and spread across the country, leaving 50 dead. Bourguiba recognized he needed men he could trust around him, strong men. A then little-known former head of military security, Zine al-Abidine Ben Ali, was made director and then minister of national security.
Why? Bourguiba was old, almost senile. We needed at that time someone in the Ministry of Interior very strong. I mean, there is a problem of order. Bourguiba, he needs someone in this position so he can stay a little bit longer.
2 years later, Ben Ali was made Interior Minister. Even for those who knew him, his rapid promotion came as a surprise.
Ben Ali is his classmate. He's from the same regiment than me. Ben Ali did not talk much. He would spend an evening with you here, I mean, everybody. He would not say more than 3 words. He would smile, nice, but he wouldn't talk. He was always listening because of his job, maybe.
Bourguiba was not alone in underestimating the quiet man. In October 1987, he made Ben Ali Prime Minister. A month later, the quiet man spoke.
He gathered 11 doctors and asked them to sign the papers telling that Bourguiba is no longer in good health to run the country. And by constitution, at that time the Prime Minister would become the president, he became president.
After 30 years of one-party rule, the public euphoria was unconfined. Ben Ali's first public act on the 7th of November was to pledge to dismantle Bourguiba's state.
À partir de ce jour, plus d'injustice. À partir de ce jour, plus de présidence à vie. À partir de ce jour, plus de confiscation par un parti de l'ensemble des institutions de l'État et de quadrillage de la vie politique. J'ai fait partie des gens qui ont pris ce discours au sérieux.
The 8th of November, he went to the office of the Prime Minister, and one young girl said, Yahya Ben Ali, life forever. And he went to her and said, don't say Yahya Ben Ali, say Yahya Tunis. Tunis forever. And it's extraordinary, really. It's unbelievable today.
Bourguiba was to live another 12 years, able to die in the country of his birth, still remembered fondly by many, a privilege afforded to few deposed autocrats. For the Tunisian people, the honeymoon with their new president was to be brief. the signs were not too difficult to spot. Bourguiba's new Constitution Party was rebranded as the Constitutional Democratic Rally, known by its French acronym RCD. The political freedom Ben Ali promised was also short-lived. Those imprisoned under Bourguiba soon found themselves again facing jail.
Notre engagement a été trahi parce que très vite, on a vu s'est imposée la réalité de la naissance d'une nouvelle dictature, avec du surcroît une évolution de l'entourage de Ben Ali qui a fait que les pratiques mafieuses se sont installées. Et personnellement, ça a duré entre 1993 et 1995 et je l'ai payé par une nouvelle détention.
The post of President for Life had been officially abolished, but Ben Ali ensured that the principle continued, changing the constitution to allow him to stand again and again and again. A generation of Tunisians were to grow up under Ben Ali's paternal gaze.
In the newspapers, on television, in the radio, it was always about what Ben Ali did today, what Ben Ali is going to do, who did he meet. So the Tunisian citizen was like living in a perfect world with its God, which is Ben Ali and his family, and no one had the right to say that anything is going wrong.
The youth now are fed up of everything. We lost everything. Some people has no view of the future. They didn't project themselves in a future in Tunisia, so they only think about going abroad.
Strong government, no opposition, a limited or non-existent press. A situation familiar across much of the region. For dictatorships to survive, they have to be seen as benevolent. For Tunisians, this benevolence consisted mainly of a high level of education, Bourguiba's legacy, and one of the strongest economies in Africa. For the new generation, however, this was no longer enough. Both education and the economy had shown themselves to be hollow promises.
Our parents wanted to believe in the system and they wanted to build a country where everybody can live properly and raise their children and send them to school, etc. And they did it. We were good at school, we are good workers, we are organized, civilized, and we're living under mafia. We were living under mafia and there is no hope.
Ben Ali's mafia was to be his undoing, but in reality, he had little choice. Without popular support, he needed to buy loyalty from somewhere. Despite being a former military man, he had always seen the army as a threat, relying instead on those around him to keep him in power. The elite of his 2 million-strong RCD party, and increasingly, the family of his universally loathed second wife, Leila Trabelsi. These people needed to be rewarded for their loyalty, and the natural result